Hey there, Squirrel Army. How's it going? For today, we are doing an upgrade guide for the new Secret Lair Angels. They're just like us, but cooler and with wings. Deck. You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. Alrighty, so I've found the deck list here, and of course, you guys can go and find the deck list by Google searching it. It's not horrible, it's not a 10 out of 10 though, and we can make it quite a bit better. And I did ask you guys kind of what you wanted to see with this deck list, so yeah, this is the way I probably would have done it anyway. Not to say that we're not heavy angels, but there are other things here that do help us out, and that are very good for the deck. Alright, so here is the finished deck list. Came out at nearly $500. Ignore that it says 101 cards because the deck comes with 101st card for some reason. I don't understand. They just put an extra card in there. I think they did say something about it. It's an additional angel of some sort. I didn't really read it. Sorry. But yeah, they added an additional card, so it's 101 cards. Whatever. So we're at 101 cards to be even. So you could obviously, well, in a sense, need to cut one card either way to figure this deck out legally to play, but whatever. It is what it is, ignore that. Before I go too much further though, of course, if you're not interested in the explanation of what's in, what's out, what's not, what's hot, what's not, all that stuff, go check out the deck list in the description, in the comments there, and then you can do what you will with that list. But for those people that are interested, I'll go through the cuts that I tried to make and try to justify them. And then go through some of the editions. I think we actually... Oh, no, yeah, we had 16 editions. That's true. I forgot. Whatever. Ajani, I think he was falling into the Wrath category. So we had a few Wraths already, and the other abilities, like the gain life, isn't terrible. Of course, we do gain life in this deck, and that sort of thing, but still, I didn't think it was that relevant to what we were doing, and felt there were better ways to gain just incremental life. We don't need to gain so much ridiculous life. We usually just need to gain 3 or 4 or whatever. We just want that for those triggers that we do have, and we want that to buff our own life total, so that, again, this is a fairly slow plotting deck that only really comes online turn 5, 6, 7 or whatnot. So yeah, it's a slow deck that needs to gain life to stay in the game. So certainly it's not horrible, but still I had to cut things, and I just didn't feel like it gaining us so much life was that amazing. The token is just, yeah, whatever. It is Ajani's Primate, isn't it? Yeah. But still, I don't think it's that relevant. Didn't really do enough. Commander's Plate, very good, certainly, but we're not a Voltron deck. So, yeah. I don't know. You certainly can use it, but I think there's a lot of other cool equipment that'll do more for us drawing us cards, getting us lands, the things that we really need. Yeah, we can give one thing protection, but the thing is, we've got a whole bunch of big angels. We don't need that much evasion. Yeah, it can be protection, but still, we've got boots and greaves. So, I don't know. And yeah, when our commander flips, virtually has protection from everything. So, yeah, but still, I don't know. Retreat of Angels, it's just too much mana for too little. Even the miracle cost is too much for too little. So I just don't think it's worth our time. Everflowing Chalice, not terrible, especially for a mono deck like this. But again, we needed to cut things. I felt like us having more swords and things that drew us cards, gained us lands, etc., thinned our deck, were more important. So just decided to cut it. Griffinary, mainly because it only does it at your end step or our end step. So the other ones were doing it at each end step or whatever, so yeah, that was a bit better. Yeah, it is 2 mana, but it doesn't make angels, it only makes griffins, so yeah, don't know about that. Invoke Divine, I just take Disenchant, and we've got Dismantling Wave too, so I just felt like we've got a fair few things that destroy artifacts and enchantments. Not like you can have too many to a degree, but still need to cut things, and yeah, just was a bit bad. Karoo, it's a bad bounce land. You won't be sad that this is gone, because you've got to return an untapped land. That makes it really bad. So yeah, I'd rather just run a thing that says return any land. Yeah, it taps for 2 mana, but there's lots of lands that do that. That we could run, but we're not. Kindred Boon, it's pretty slow, and it doesn't really protect all our other stuff. It'll protect our angels, because, yeah, our angels are our main part of our deck. But again, it won't protect the other things, and it's really slow at doing it. Plus, again, we're already in a really slow deck, so we don't need more things slowing us down. Marble Diamond, this is terrible. Even in a mono-colored deck, this is terrible. Do not play these cards. I don't understand why people play these. They say there's no other options. There's literally hundreds. So do not play this garbage. It's not worth the time. Maze My Time, again, pretty much terrible. Only get it's 2 or 3 uses out of it. Yeah, and then it's just a card that gets exiled. Yeah, that's not terrible. Well, it actually is, but still, for these colors, it's not as bad. But again, we can just do better, honestly. So again, take it out. Nykthos Pilgrim, getting the counters once per life gain trigger. Yeah, sure, we can gain life on other people's turns, but even then, it's a little bit annoying. Plus, it's not an angel, so it's very restricted, and it doesn't really help. It does help our angels, but not nearly enough. We've already got really big angels, so we don't really need to buff them that much. It's nice to get a buff, but we just don't super need it. The Monument, obviously not bad, but again, I had to cut things for other things that I just thought, draw us cards, thin our deck, etc. So it ended up on the chopping block. Sarah Ascendant, it's not horrible, but again, I just needed to cut things, and I just felt like there were a lot of things competing in this deck for space, and it doesn't really help us. Life gain isn't our main game plan, it's our sub game plan. So, yeah, if we're really a life game deck, sure, but we're not. So, yeah, it is a big flyer, but still, don't know. Um, Break of Heavens takes too long to do anything. You can only do it once per round, so yeah, it's just not that amazing. Does have vigilance. Don't know. No. Sunblast Angel, we already had a lot of really good rafts. Plus, again, I was just like thinking about the one that actually has flash and it's only like one more mana. So I was like, yeah, I think that's better. So, I don't know. Just decided to cut it. Book of Deeds, like I know there's that whole thing there where you can animate lands, but I don't even think we have any of those lands that we could put the indestructible thing on so we don't lose the game and that. It's really hard to get rid of them at that point. And also, again, it's only our end step that we get angels, and just a lot of the other stuff that I was looking at was like a lot better. So decided to cut it. Alright, let's get into what I added. As I said, Angel of Dalaran, one more mana than Sunblast, has flash. So, you know, that's pretty good. That's really useful. You know, it does only get rid of attacking creatures, so it doesn't destroy other creatures that are already tapped, but still, you're usually only gonna gain or use this when it's like a life threatening thing, so yeah, it's alright. Plus, they're exiled, so they're not coming back or whatever, so. Um, Shape of Planeteer. This is a weird one. I don't think many people know about this card, but it's pretty good. Flash and Flying. It basically redirects somebody's attack onto whoever we want. So we flash it in when somebody's attacking us, and then just be like, now you're attacking Steve over here, or whatever, you know, or Steve's Planeswalker, or whatever. So it really busts up alliances, or, you know, saves us from death, or just gets us in the right place that we want to be so that we're doing the things that we want. And yeah, it is a bit of mana, but still, it's pretty cool, I think, to just redirect attacks, and then it's just a 4/4 flyer, which is pretty nice, honestly. Thraben Watcher, giving our stuff +1/+1 and vigilance. The vigilance is really what we care about there. +1/+1, that's okay, that's fine. But the vigilance is what we want. Because again, we can then block our opponent's stuff, so that's pretty darn useful. Alright, so Battle Angels of the Tier, just amazing, really good angel. It is a bit expensive, but it's well worth our time. Especially for this monocolor deck. Yeah, sure, it's only for each opponent effectively, which is a lot worse than what originally I thought it was. So you only get effectively one good trigger off it rather than for each opponent. But still, yeah, you can get extra triggers still, and that one trigger and just punching everyone for full flying damage is just really good. So, yeah, wouldn't pass it up at all. Cathar Commando, of course, we're in white, so we don't have much really good draw power, but this is good white draw power, and hey, it works for what we're doing. So that seems pretty good to add on in. As I said, I had a whole bunch of equipment and swords and stuff. Um, Horn of the Meek, or Horn of the Mark. Um, when we attack, we can look at the top 5 cards and we can reveal a creature, put it into our hand, put the rest on the bottom. So again, we're a very attack heavy deck. We're going to get lots of, well, probably 3 per turn off of this because it's for each player. So yeah, that's pretty good just to draw us some cards, draw us more angels, hopefully at least. But we should draw something off of it and be pretty useful. Sword of Fire and Ice, like again, we've got lots of evasive creatures, so we don't really need the buff or the evasion. The 2 damage, whatever, that's fine. But the draw card, that's what we really want. So, yeah, that's pretty decent, I would say. Resplendent Angel, if we gain 5 or more life, each end step, we create a 4/4 angel with flying and vigilance. It's pretty good for 3 mana, 3/3 flyer, and then we can buff our stuff. We can buff this up to give it a +2/+2 and lifelink. Not terrible, but certainly okay as well. Archangel of Jubilation. The +1/+1 buff is okay. Again, not too worried about that, but that's okay. But just that little bit of stacks of saying players can't pay life or sacrifice creatures to activate abilities or cast spells really can hamper certain decks. And again, we're a very slow deck and we need that kind of stuff sometimes. So, yeah, it is how it is sometimes. Bitterhorn, Nissus Animus. Again, I talked about this card a while back, but here it really works well. Even though the living weapon can get in the way, but still, just getting those extra lands is really good. We don't care about the buff, but whatever, that's fine. Herald of War. I don't think we've got many proliferate or whatever abilities, but still, that's okay. As soon as we get 1 or 2 counters on it, it's pretty decent. So that we can cast our angels and humans, 1 less to cast for each counter on it. And then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more dangerous as well. So that seems pretty decent. Herald's Horn, yeah, it can ramp us a little bit, which is okay, but it also draws us cards every now and again, so that's really useful. Doing both of those things is why this card's so sought after and really good. So yeah. Alright, more swords. Fortune Frontier, again, the protection or buffs don't really matter. The exiling to cast cards is good, and playing additional lands is good, because when we have an abundance of lands and we don't have many ways to play them out, that being able to play extra lands can be very useful. So, can do good things for us. Swords of Hearth and Home. The Flicker, I don't know if it's ever going to come up that much. I don't know. Maybe it will. There's a couple of things that have ETBs here, but don't know. I think the land obviously is just the better thing. So, yeah. But that's why it's here, just to give us more lands. So, and that is pretty much it, I think. Oh no, we've got Lyra buffing our angels, giving them lifelink. Lifelink's alright. Again, we need to pad our life total. And we need to, get triggers on things and stuff, so that's alright as well. Oh, and Angelic Skirmisher, once each combat. Actually, that's on our opponent's combat too. I forgot about that. I didn't realise that till just now. But yeah, we can choose First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, and all our creatures gain that ability. So that's really good because when we're on our combat, we're going to probably choose Vigilance, so we can just be like, okay, I can attack without having to tap. That means I can block next turn, and then I can choose like either First Strike or Lifelink, whatever really applies, so that I can get more benefits from people attacking into me. So yeah. But yeah, that's it now. So you guys, as always, can let me know what you guys think, writing your thoughts down there in the comments below. Hope you've enjoyed this one and hope you will join me again in another one.